Bait chuckers, what's going on out there? We got a real fun video for you today. We're playing with changeables. Can you guess which one it is? Blue Craw. I was watching Chris Jones's video from last week. I'll put a link to it in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Go check it out. He pitted Blue Craw up against Dopamine, battle of the changeables. Well, in my opinion, Blue Craw is like one of the top 3 must-have changeables in your arsenal. I mean, MF motor oil, gotta have it. Lureworks Chameleon, gotta have it. And DeadOn Blue Craw absolutely should be in your top 3 of changeable colors. If you don't have it already, highly recommend picking up a bottle. And I have zero affiliation with DeadOn. It's just a great color. But the nice thing about the DeadOn colors is Travis designed all his colors so they don't bleed. So what a lot of people don't realize is you can use Blue Craw in a laminate and it's not going to bleed into the lower layer. So we're going to show you a pretty cool recipe that makes for some awesome swim baits today, utilizing Blue Craw. Mold of choice today is the 4.1 inch Epic Prey Bait. These things get absolutely slammed at my lakes here, and today I am just making some baits for myself. My inspiration was sparked by Chris's video, so this is a recipe I've had for a while. I'm also going to show you 2 different ways to make this recipe today. One just with normal additives, colorants, and glitter, and then a second version where we spice it up with a little 8-bit bait goodness. We're going to go ahead and throw all the colors up on the screen that you're going to need today. Here's the entire recipe. It's too much to go through, but the shop is a mess right now, so I'm going to get all cleaned up. And before we get started in today's video, I do want to apologize for no video last week. I know we did a live stream. Turns out we actually recorded an entire video, but I found out after the fact that the information covered was highly classified. So I can't go into full details, but we were messing around with some silicone baits, making some awesome 8-bit baits versions. But what I can show you is a little bit of the footage right here. So you enjoy that. I'm going to clean up the shop and we're going to get ready to make this Blue Craw bait. Here we are, fresh cup of plastisol right out of the microwave, crystal clear. I have been playing with this Lureworks Porsol Pro more and more, so that's what we're going to try today. I want to see how it performs in the Prey Bait. It's another one of my favorite swim bait molds, so we're going to also see how it deals with the changeable. So that's part of today's experiment as well. All right, so here we go, Blue Craw. Make sure you shake this really, really good. We're going in with 35 drops. All right, next up, we're going to go in with our Phthalo Blue. Now, keep in mind, this can be any dark blue. It doesn't have to be the Lureworks Phthalo Blue, but this is the one that I like to use for my recipe. And just 1 drop. And then last but not least, every changeable always does great with a drop of black to set it off. So 1 drop of Lureworks Black. All right, we're going to get that all mixed in there. And you can already see the brown in the cup, but that turquoise blue on the knife. Oh, that is fantastic stuff. Love, love, love Blue Craw. All right, next up, we're going to add our glitter. So we're going to go in with medium hex, 0.040, and the recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon. I like to use a 1/16 teaspoon, so for me, that's going to be 4 scoops. And then to activate that blue, we're going to go in with some small Royal Blue 0.015. That is the small hex. And again, I use a 1/16 teaspoon scooper here. And we're just going to go, really, it's like a dash. So maybe like a 32nd, if you will. It's kind of like a 1/2 of a 1/16. And that really is just to add a little bit of bling in with all the texture and changeable that's going on. All right, and there you go. You can see we got a little bit of blue bling in there with that brown, but then when it gets thin, it's going to show that blue. So we get that brown to blue changeable. This is going to make for a great top color in a shad, and so we're going to show you a nice little clear belly that's going to go right along with this. It's going to pair up nicely. All right, here we go. Fresh cup of plastisol right out of the microwave. I know we got lots of bubbles, but it's because we shook our plastisol. We're going to vacuum it anyways to get rid of all that. So for the belly color, we're going to use some blue interference powder, some of the Mica Shift here by 8-Bit Baits. The interference blue, MS104 is the colorway, but you can use any blue highlight powder that you want. Now similarly, again, like we did with that blue flake, we're coming in only with about a 1/2 of a 16th, so maybe a 32nd of a teaspoon total. We want the belly actually to be relatively clear. Now I'll note when I'm stirring this in, we put just a little bit in there because we want our belly to remain very light and relatively translucent. Now as the interference powder interacts with that darker color up top, that's going to give us a blue vein in the bait, and it's going to actually darken and shadow the rest of the belly to give it more blue pop than you think. So you can see just a dash, just that small 30-second, you can see on the knife we have a blue sheen coming off of it there, and it added just the ever so slight pearl effect, kind of opaqued out the plastic just a little bit, and that's exactly the look that we're going for. Now I'm coming in here with some small black flake, the .035. You can use .015 hex if you want, and again I like to come in and just take a little tiny pinch, just a little pinch like that. All right, you can see by doing that, there's not a whole lot there. In fact, I'm going to go a little more. You can do large pinches, small pinches, but the whole point is you don't want to put a whole scoop of flake. You just want just a speckle of the tiny flake in there sparsed throughout the belly. Just gives it a real natural look. I'm going to also do the same with some small holographic, just coming in here with a pinch, and I'm just kind of sprinkling it on there to my liking. Maybe a little bit more, okay, just like that. And I want to get you up close so you can see that is not very much glitter at all whatsoever in that cup. Very, very sparse. Less is more, okay? Less is more on this one. Look at that. Look at that. See that? Almost looks like a wannabe monkey milk in a way, but it's not. It's not. We got a little sparkle in there, all right, a little cloudiness. This is going to make for an amazing, amazing laminate. All right, here we go. Blue craw shad. We're going to take a nice large pull. We don't need a full one, but we have it anyways. Getting our blending block. We'll do a little purge pile there for you. All right, oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. We'll go one at a time. All right, nice and easy. Okay, we don't need a ton of force. It is only a 4-inch bait. All right, we want to be careful of the nose. We don't want those air bubbles in there. If you go too fast with this mold, you can trap in air. We don't want that. Awesome. Now, if you take a look on the injector, you can see the brown and the thick portions, and it's blue here on the top. And because it's thin, we're going to get that nice kind of turquoise-ish blue coming through with that brown. And then, of course, we have, it looks clear, but it is our interference blue with our speckled black flake in the bottom, along with that little bit of silver holographic. It's going to make for a great looking shad bait. I can't wait to show y'all. Okay, I turned the camera on real quick because I was clearing off the boat and I forgot to mention earlier, we got a package in from Robin over at PHRENCRAFT. Cool new sticker, by the way. I love the new sticker, Robin. We got prototypes in, well, I think like close to final. Should be final by the time it's up on the website. But you all know we're building out all the accessories for the different shelves and stuff for whether it's French cleats or your universal mount system that we talked about previously. We are adding the Tilt-A-Cup, I believe, right? Tilt-A-Cup holder. The Tilt-A-Cup, we have a cup holder for your hot Pyrex to keep it tilted at that nice angle, you know, to pull the, get your injector in, get the most out of the Pyrex cup when you have just a little bit left. There is a single, there is a double. Oh yeah, man, look at that. Belly color right in there, back color right in there. Beautiful. Held in, double layer. Look at that. Double secure. So you got custom laser cut fit to the Pyrex cup. I know it fits the Anchor and the Pyrex brand. That's pretty sweet. Oh yeah, look at that. That cup is not moving. That ain't going nowhere. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. All right, here we go. The 4.1 inch Epic Prey Bait in the Blue Craw Shad Laminate. Let's see how these turned out. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. All right. Ooh, that's a doozy. What a doozy of a swim bait. All right, so you can see we have the clear, transparent bellies. The brown shows through in the thick parts, just like I mentioned, right? It's going to be that thicker brown. But now if we turn these around, you can start to see, especially in the tails here before we take them out of the mold, they got that transparent blue going on here. Hard to see because of the lighting and the reflection. But if I get out of the way there, you can see that beautiful brown coming through. That clear translucent belly. Looking absolutely wonderful. What an amazing changeable. Let's get these out of the mold. And here's a look at one up close. Again, that transparent blue belly. And you get a little bit of a laminate line as it meets up with that darker brown color right there. Beautiful stuff. Up against the light, transparent blue on the top. Wow, that just looks absolutely fantastic. That is a beautiful set of shads right there. Sparkle blue in the water, turquoise transparent blue top, but that brown is going to flash as it moves through. And when the sunlight hits it, man, that blue is going to pop in that tiny little small blue glitter that we have there. That's going to pop real good. I really do love the Blue Craw. I mean, it gets bit for me a lot, at least out here on the Delta. And these Blue Craw shads work really good in clear water for me, especially if you have blue looking shad in your lake or maybe some herring. These make for some great laminates. There's some of that blue right there. Can you see it as the light shines through it? I know it's not focused all the way. There you go. As the light shines through it, you can see that turquoise blue popping through back there. Awesome stuff. But then when you get some backer behind it, it turns to that awesome looking brown. Oh, so good. I am liking the action so far. I know it's a little bit soft for the medium, but I will say the kick on the Parasol Pro, pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, we are not wasting any time. We are coming right back in here because we want the bulk of our baits that we're making today to be with our 8-bit powder. So we're coming in with 2 different powders, okay? To add to our Blue Craw, first we're going to go in with Borealis, okay? H613, the Borealis. All right, and we're not taking much. It's just a little tiny pinch, okay? You see that there? We're just adding a little bit of flavor, not much at all. Just a little bit of flavor. And then to bring out that deep blue, we're going to add, again, just a tiny, tiny amount of that HS610 Sonic. Okay, again, not very much at all, just a tiny, tiny amount. We're just going to add some flavor. Okay, we're just putting a little flavoring in there. All right, you see these here? Now watch what happens when I stir these in. There we go. That whole cup of Blue Craw just came alive. You see all that shimmer, all that sparkle in there? That's going to enhance that blue to deep blue shift, right? Even when that that brown is showing through in the sunlight, this is going to add even more blue backer to it. Oh gosh, the camera, I'm telling you, the cameras never do the Holoshift any justice at all. But look at that shimmer in the cup. Woo-wee. Oh, all right, let's get our colors ready. Let's get these laminated. All right, both our cups of Plastisol are heated up, all set to go. Don't forget to glove up. All right, let's do this again. A nice big pull. Over here. We'll do our little purge pile. There we go. All right, and again, nice and easy. Hold a tiny bit of pressure. Not a lot, but nice and slow. We don't want that bubble in the head of the bait. All right, there you can see in the sprue that Sonic and Borealis really doing some magic there on the tip up there of the injector. Looking good. No change to the belly. Still got that translucent interference blue, but adding that Borealis and that Sonic just does something special to the DeadOn Blue Craw. I'm telling you, awesome stuff. All right, so we're down to about a half a cup left of each color. So we are going to bust out our tilt-a-cup stand, and we're going to drop our Pyrex cups right inside there. It's going to keep those nice and secure at the optimum angle so we can withdraw the maximum amount of plastisol. I'll make sure to put links down below in the description. Once these are available, you can pick them up over at PHRENCRAFT. A pretty sweet design Robin and I have been working on. And going to do a couple of the larger size prey baits here. We'll do a little perch pile there. There we go. I know this is a soft plastisol for these bigger 5.6 inch prey baits, but this will just give you an example of what it's going to look like on a larger bait profile, because this laminate is just so beautiful for swim baits like this. All right, here we go. The 4.1 inch epic prey bait with that 8-Bit Baits goodness added to that blue craw and that back color there. Should make for some nice looking laminates. All the nose is poured, so that's good. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Tasty little baits. Now, do you see what I'm talking about here? Because we have that added blue now, you get a little bit more blue reflection, and that brown is not as prominent, okay? So I tend to like this here because I get the color shift. It goes from, you know, that brown back to that blue, a little bit of green in there. I mean, that to me is an awesome looking shad profile. Killer bait. There's a great example of that blue laminate line that I talk about, where the interference blue kind of blends in and hits with that darker blue craw color up top. You kind of get clear blue and then brown, but you have all that Holoshift in there doing magical things. If we take a look at one bait individually here, you can see already that sheen that you get up top, that Sonic kicking in right there. You all can see it. I know the cameras never do the Holoshift justice, but you can see it all down in there. Beautiful sparkle in the sunlight. That is just going to throw off all kind of colors. You're going to get that deep blue reflectiveness while it is still brown down there deep in the water. Just any part that it's thick, you get brown, but a little bit of splash of blue in there, because that dark brown acts as a little bit of a backer for the Borealis and that Sonic Holoshift in there. Really awesome stuff. And again, that blue craw is non-bleed, so you don't have to worry about this bleeding down into your lower belly. That is going to maintain for the life of the bait, which is pretty awesome stuff. Such a great looking bait, isn't that? Here's a great way you can use your changeable as a back color and not have to worry about it bleeding. All right, and there's a look at the whole lineup right there. You kind of got that brown back, but that blue is enhanced with that 8-Bit Baits powders there. Clear belly, but also blue. Just an amazing looking swim bait. Blue craw makes for a fantastic back color, so highly recommended. It looks good in almost any swim bait mold that you do this in. You could even make a white pearl belly. I mean, you could have all kinds of fun with this color. Lots of different ways for y'all to experiment. Gosh, I just love these. Are going to get absolutely destroyed in my lakes here. I cannot wait. All right, now here's a look. This is the original recipe, right? Normal blue craw, and this is it with the 8-Bit Baits added. Now we haven't done anything, right, other than add a little bit of 8-Bit Baits so you can see the amount of sheen that is given off from that dark brown backing color. So if you want a more natural look, you can certainly go this route and keep that darker brown back, or you can go this route, add a little 8-Bit Baits in there, and it lightens up that back a little bit, but you still get that kind of brown backing for your shad back there. So Two different ways to make this awesome recipe using Blue Craw as a top color for a changeable. All right, and last but not least, let's take a look at the larger 5.6 inch Epic Prey Bait so you can see what this color looks like in a larger profile bait. What side do they want to come off on? Not the same sides. Ah, shucks. There we go. We kind of got them on the same side for you. Jacked up our tail right there a little bit, sliced into it, opening the mold that way. So be careful when you open your molds, kind of goofy like that. You can certainly damage your own baits, but it is still fishable. But take a look at that. Beautiful, beautiful Blue Craw shad laminate going on right there. Again, if we look at the back side, you have that dark brown with the shimmer added of the 8-bit baits going on in there, the clear translucent bellies, and that brown carries into the tail along with that kind of turquoisey blue. Looks even better in a larger bait profile. Let's get these out of here. So again, if we hold up our single bait profile here, looking at it with the light passing through, you can see the brown. You get the reflection of the blue with the 8-bit sheen in there, that black flake adding texture, and then of course that clear translucent blue belly. A little bit of a laminate there across the center when the light hits it, making for an awesome laminate Blue Craw shad. I mean, I don't know really what else to call it. Let me know down in the comments below if you have a better name. But gosh, doesn't that look good? Doesn't that look good? I mean, goodness gracious. Let me flip it over this way so the Blue Craw faces the direction that I have of the key light here. And you can kind of get a different angle that way. There's the clear belly and that Blue Craw back changing from brown to blue. A little extra help from the 8-bit baits. Looking absolutely incredible. These things are going to get slammed. Great bait fish profile, great bait fish color all around. Blue Craw, definitely a must-have changeable that you need to get and put in your arsenal as far as I'm concerned. Such a versatile color. Obviously works great in craw baits, but you can use it as a laminate in your swim baits as well. So don't sleep on it. Awesome recipe. All right, let's get some eyes on these baits. We will get some close-ups and we'll meet you back at the workbench. All right, bait chuckers, and there you have it. An awesome Blue Craw recipe to use, kind of like a shad laminate, if you will. Turned out fantastic. Thank you, Chris, for the inspiration from your video last week. I got myself some sweet personal baits to throw here at the lakes, but I think we're going to wrap and cap this video right here, everyone. A shorter one for today. I hope you all have a wonderful Easter weekend with your family. Make sure to tell someone you love them, and may God's grace be out there around your place. Until next time, you all know who it is. Your friend on this end, Michael, out here around these Delta sloughs, reminding you to keep on chucking. I'll get back with you.